Hello, happy Friday. I just wanted to get on here and make a video about something that happened this week. So as I've mentioned in my videos, my mother is a narcissist and so is my ex-husband. Obviously, growing up with a narcissist, a lot of the things that I experienced in my childhood I found as normal, and I'm realizing as an adult that sometimes you can pull or draw those people right back into your life. I think that's how I ended up married to my ex-husband. But it doesn't matter. That was we're divorced now. It doesn't matter. But I believe that because I was raised in a toxic, narcissistic family dynamic at home, I think that very much led into me marrying the person that I married and enduring a few years of just bullshit like I did. Of course, I didn't know even during my marriage that I was being abused and neglected and everything else because I was so used to it from, the stuff that was happening to me just seemed normal. So I didn't know, what narcissism was or what being abused and all that. I didn't know. I thought everybody's parents were like that. So anyway, so this week, my ex-husband and I had to go to child support court. A little back story on that is back in October of 2022, we went for the first time in, I think, in a few years. At that point, he was 54 or 55,000, but it was over 50,000 that he was behind. At this point, right now, I think it's closer to $60,000 that he's behind in child support. But we went in October, and he was told that he needed to have paid a certain amount before December. And he was also told that he needs to be making these payments until the wage garnishment on his job took place, which never took place. And all of November, he didn't pay anything. We had to go to court on December 12th, and he paid like $400 or $500 right before our court date, which left us open for a review. So they said that we would come back in December. We did December. He paid that. Then we were supposed to come back in February, which was just a couple days ago, that we were supposed to come back. So all of January, he didn't send any money again. But apparently he sent some right before court again. This year, when I went in, or the other day when I went in, they said to me, well, it looks like he's making an effort. Mind you, he's like 57,000 behind. And he just made like a payment of, I think, $300. And so when she said to me, he's making an effort, I said, no, he's not. I said, he'll pay today, and then I won't see a dime for 8 months or another year or however long it's going to take for us to have to come back to court again. I was like, so no, I don't think he's making an effort. And mind you, I've been divorced since 2013. We've been separated since 2011. He contested the divorce, even though all I said when we got divorced is that all I wanted was him to see our children regularly and to pay his child support. That's all I asked for. My attorney tried to get me to ask for alimony. He tried to get me to add so much stuff. I didn't want any of that. I just wanted out. I didn't want any of that other stuff. I didn't care. I just said, all I want is what I brought in. I want him to see the kids and pay his child support. This was in January of 2013. So it's been 10 years at this point. When we got divorced, he would pay, $60 here or there. He never paid what was ordered until there was 1 year in there where his wages were garnished. And I got what I was supposed to get that year. But when it's been left up to him, he never does what he's supposed to do. So this year, when they said, he's making an effort or you can ask for a hearing, in all these 10 years, I have never once thought of asking for a hearing, but I've also never been as self-confident in myself. I've never known my worth as much as I do now, but it took 10 years to get here. So maybe he was just on easy street this whole time because I didn't have myself together. I don't know. But anyway, I told her, I said, it's almost $60,000 at this point. I'm tired of being nice about it. Let's do the hearing. So we go back in the courtroom. We're waiting till our turn. Everybody leaves. It's literally just me and him that are left in the courtroom, which was crazy to me. That has never happened to me before in child support court, and I've been going for 10 years. They bring him up to the stand. I'm sitting there, just waiting, because I'm assuming that I'm going to have to talk too. So I'm just waiting for my turn to speak, and they're asking him questions. Where do you live? What kind of job do you have? How much money do you make? How long have you been at this job? Mind you, the job he said he works at, I don't believe he works there. Because I feel like this same job was on our paperwork a few years ago, but he just said that he just started working there 4 or 5 months ago, like back in September of last year, that can't be right. Because I know I've seen this same name on paperwork from a couple years ago. So I don't believe he works there. Personally, I think he has his own business. If you, from what I've seen on, Instagram or whatever, he's got business cards. He makes way more money than he says he does. But while we were in court, he said what he said. He said that his little side business is $200 a month. I don't believe that. I think that's his excuse me, his regular job, and he makes good money. Him and his fiance bought a house. They asked about the house. He told how much he paid in his mortgage to the house. They asked him, as far as all your other obligations, do you pay those on time? And he was very adamant that he pays all his bills on time. Everything, except his child support. He does not pay his child support. So, I guess it's the lawyer or the lady who was asking the questions. She even said to him, she said, do you have anything that you could sell to help you get caught up on this child support? To which he literally said in front of a judge, I ain't selling nothing. And so she said, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. And he literally says, no, ma'am, I don't have anything to sell. To which the judge said, no. What you said is you ain't selling nothing. The judge was sitting right next to him. I mean, why would you? Come on. She's right there. And so she clearly heard him, and he tried to clean it up, I guess, when he realized what he'd said. So the judge asked him, she said, so what are you going to do? You just going to sit in jail? Because I guess at that point she could clearly see that he had no intentions of actually paying, regardless. And when she asked him, so what are you going to just sit in jail? He literally said, I guess if that's what we have to do. I just can't imagine speaking to a judge like that. I believe he doesn't have any respect for women at all, and he was the only dude in the courtroom at that moment. And I think that he just didn't realize that you can't talk to her like that. You can't talk to nobody like that, really. Maybe your girlfriend or your mom or somebody in your family, but you can't talk to grown people crazy like that, especially people in authority. And this is a judge, sir. You can't. So after he said that, she literally said, go get me a deputy. And out she went to get the deputy. So he comes back, and the deputy comes in, and he's standing in the courtroom, and I'm just thinking, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this. It's been 10 years of me just begging him to do the bare minimum. Come see the kids or come pick them up and pay your child support. That's all I'm asking of you. I don't want nothing from you other than what would actually be your responsibilities here. So the lawyer, or I don't know what her actual title is, she finally starts talking, and she says, we see that he's made a payment here, and here. But we also see that based on his own testimony, he is intentionally not paying his child support. He was very clear about paying all his other bills, but when it came to child support, that one he's just not paying. And so she said that we see that he has been in contempt at this point for quite some time. And the judge agreed. She said at this point it's been about 10 years you've been in contempt. And so we want to petition the court to take him into custody for contempt of not paying his child support. So the deputy put the cuffs on him and walked him out. And I'm just sitting there in shock because I have been telling him for years, dude, this is not going to go well for you. You're getting away with it each year, which is why I feel like he was so confident that nothing would happen. But the judge flat out told him, until you raise $5,000, you will sit in jail. Now, 5,000 is not a whole big number off of, close to 60,000. But my whole thing is, for the first time in 10 years, he's being held accountable. And I didn't have to say nothing. They didn't ask me anything. They decided this based on his own testimony, which was even better. Because, I didn't have anything to do with him getting locked up, other than saying that I wanted to have a hearing. Now, I don't know if he's still in jail now. It's been 2 days at this point. I know that he is not allowed to bail out, and he's not allowed to bond out. He has to raise $5,000 to get out of jail. So I don't know. I don't know if he's in or out. I don't know if they're going to call me when he's out. I don't know anything. I just realized that he chose not to pay child support because he's angry at me for, I guess, either leaving him or... That's the only thing I can think of, because I've never done anything to him except for left him. When I got tired 4 years into our marriage and I said, I just don't want to do this anymore. I'm not happy. I want out. I left. I've never done anything to him. I've never tried to hurt him. I've never done anything. We ended up getting divorced in the first place because he came over when we were separated to see the kids one day. He ended up assaulting me that same night. So when that happened... he got arrested that Wednesday. I filed for divorce that Friday. I don't play that. It happened on a Monday. Wednesday, he was arrested. Friday, I filed for divorce. And I never looked back. And that was back in 2011. It is 2023. And for the first time, he's actually being held accountable for choosing to not take care of his responsibilities. I don't understand why it's so hard just to pay your child support. He doesn't visit the kids. He even brought that up in court, saying that it's been about 2 years since I've seen my kids. And I'm like, yeah, but that was your choice. You could come and you call them and ask if they want to go, and if they say no, you got to accept that they're not babies anymore. My kids are 15 and 13 years old. They're old enough to say, hey, I don't want to go. And that's his issue, not mine. He did that. He chose not to show up. And now they're old enough now they can choose whether they want to go or not, and they don't want to go. There's nothing I can do about that. Something else that was said in court that was crazy to me is they said, do you have any money to give today? And his response was, well, I could take back the clothes I just bought my kids. Why would you think that's something that they would want to hear and be on board with? That's not how any of this works. And the whole time I sat there, I just kept thinking, man, he is digging his hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And I didn't have to say a word. He did it all himself. So it looks like at some point here in the near future, I'm going to actually get some child support. But my whole thing is, he is engaged to be married. At this point, it should be very easy for him to just pay his child support and see his kids. But I assume because he's still a narcissist, and they truly believe that once they have you, they always own you, even though we have now been divorced since 2013. It's been 10 years. He should have no issue at least just paying his child support now. But because he was so determined to spite me, now he's in jail. I don't think it's worth that. I really don't. I just don't understand the logic there. I don't get it. It is so much, it has to be so exhausting being a narcissist. Because it's exhausting being just a regular person trying to deal with them. Anyway, we'll find out what happens. I feel a little vindicated because I didn't ask for much when I left. And it wouldn't have cost him anything just to do what was his part to do in the first place.